C'est quoi un penseur anarchiste?
Vous voulez que je dise quelque chose sur l'anarchisme? I first want to thank the organizers of this magnificent event. It seems to me to be a so much more beautiful way of presenting ideas than the standard way ideas are presented. I don't think I could go anywhere in rural America and have an audience like this. So I want to thank you for coming. Secondly, I have a secret reason for being here, and that is if President Trump wins a second term, I plan to apply for political asylum in France, and I'm hoping that my appearance here will help my application. Regarding my flight from political science, the political science was in the process of changing into a quantitative science that believed it was a natural science when I finished my PhD. And to be frank, political science began to bore me. C'était ennuyant. And I decided to spend more of my time reading from other disciplines, including novels and poetry and history. It was when I began teaching the middle of the Vietnam War, and I spent 3 years essentially giving public speeches against the Vietnam War. And I decided at the end of, I gave classes with friends on theories of peasant revolution. And I decided that this was so important, and peasants were the largest class in world history, that it would be a worthy thing to devote my life to the study of peasants. And then I said to myself, if I'm going to devote my life to the study of peasants, I have to live in a village for a substantial amount of time so that I know one village like the back of my hand. And when I'm tempted to some stupid generalization of social science, I have a check. I have a chance to sort of stop myself from being stupid. Vous voulez que je dise quelque chose sur l'anarchisme? I gave a class on the history of revolutions. And I did this for 3 years. And I found myself saying things in which in my mind, I would stop and say, oh, Scott, that sounds like what an anarchist would say. This happened again and again and again and again. And I thought, well, maybe I better read the anarchist classics. And in fact, I think the most important thing for me is that in the study of revolutions, in which in my mind, I would stop and say, oh, Scott, that sounds like what an anarchist would say. This happened again and again and again and again. And I thought, well, maybe I better read the anarchist classics. And in fact, I think the most important thing for me is that in the study of revolutions, I realized I was, as a young man, I was a supporter of Ho Chi Minh, Mao Zedong. I was a standard issue gauchist. And I realized that almost every revolution I had ever read and studied, if it was successful, it created a state that was even more oppressive than the state that it replaced. And so I began to believe that when the revolution becomes the state, it becomes my enemy. Vous voulez que je dise quelque chose sur l'anarchisme?
In fact, this is the end of the movie.
2 rosés secs Mickey, Francis, s'il te plaît.
Vous voulez que je dise quelque chose sur l'anarchisme?